So this is where we stopped. The story so far. The man who turned into a stick by Kobo Abe. So this is the story. So it is summer, in the middle of summer, month of June. A hippie boy and a hippie girl, they are sitting on a sidewalk curb, that is on the edge of a footpath, on a busy street in front of a department store. They have a plain look and indifferent because they are hippies. They sit as if they are sniffing glue, very indifferent, not much emotion on their face, a plain look. Suddenly, a stick comes hurling. A stick falls from above. The hippies are frightened. Now, at this moment, the man from hell enters from the left of the stage, and the woman from hell enters from the right side. They move towards the center stage. When the stick came falling from above, as I said, the hippie boy and the hippie girl were startled. They say, "Oh, we had a hairbreadth escape, a very narrow escape. The stick almost hit us, and they feel that it is very dangerous. Standing or sitting on the sidewalk, it could be very dangerous." So the man from hell and the woman from hell, we know they are on duty from hell. So they are on the members of the earth duty squad. They are taking count of the people who turn into objects on death. The title of the play is "The Man Who Turned into a Stick." So they are taking count of such people, the people who transform themselves into objects like a stick at the time of a death. So they recite some poems, some verses, poetic verses about fate. Well, they are creatures from the other world, the underground, and the underworld. And they say, because they have got a report that another man has turned into a stick. So they are looking for that particular instance of death in which a man has turned into a stick. So they are looking for that. They have come, or they are going around searching for where exactly it occurred. Such an instance, that is, a man died and he turned into a stick. So they are looking for evidence. They are looking for that instance. They are looking for the place where it happened, and they are collecting, as I said, they are collecting evidence, and they are supposed to write reports. The man from hell is a supervisor, and the woman from hell is an apprentice, a sort of an apprentice. The hippie boy picks up the stick and begins tapping a popular rhythm music. When the hippie girl looks up, she notices a child on the top of the department store. And they guess, the hippie boy and the hippie girl guess that it was the boy who threw the stick down. So it must be the boy. At this point, the stick speaks, for the first time. So it is a sort of monologue. The stick is talking to itself. And at this point, at this juncture, the audience realizes that the stick is the father of the boy. The stick is the father of the boy. Then the man from the hell and the woman from the hell, they question the hippie boy and the hippie girl about the stick. They ask where the hippies found the stick. And the hippies in turn, they just don't care. The hippies don't care. They just sit there as if nothing has happened. They didn't hear the question. They are unaffected by the question. The hippies in turn want to know if the man from hell and the woman from hell are police, are members of, they are policemen. But the man and woman say they are not. They ask the hippies for the stick. Would you mind handing over the stick to us? This is the man from hell asks the hippie boy, would you mind handing over the stick to me? Would you mind giving me the stick? But the hippie boy does not trust these people, because these people must be spies. So they call them, the hippie boy and the hippie girl, they call them liars. We don't trust you. You are liars. And they say that these are the people. It is these people. It is the man from hell and the woman from hell who threw the stick at him. And now they are trying to suppress the evidence. The hippie girl reminds the hippie boy about the child, standing on the top of the roof. The woman from hell confirms that she says, the woman from hell says, oh, well, I saw it with my own eyes. There was a boy standing near the railings, near the fence on the top of the roof, and the child was calling for his father. When the man from the hell attempts to explain why they need the stick and ask for hippies' understanding, then there is a discussion about understanding, a discussion about aim, and all such things are there. Then they say, well, we don't understand you because we are completely different, alienated, the hippie girl says. So there is a generation gap. You belong to a different, because you are older people, you are coming from hell, and and we are youngsters, hippies, the new gen people. So there is a wide gap, generation gap. Now the man who turned into a stick, he bemoans. He is very sad, and he talks. There is a monologue. He talks about himself. The hippies and the man and the woman from the hell, they discuss the topic of aims, and they become suddenly distracted. Now, to bring them back to the subject, the man from hell asks, yes, do you want to sell it? How much do you want? Then, there's a sort of a bargaining about the money. And the hippie boy finally says, well, I have started. There is some sort of an intimacy. There is an intimacy, a sort of attachment between the hippie boy and the stick. I have started liking it. Look, we are lookalikes. We resemble each other. We are lookalikes. I look exactly like the stick. The stick looks exactly like me. So we are lookalikes. Me and the stick, we understand each other. Well, there is a sort of emotional attachment, and also there is a resemblance, in the appearance, so we are lookalikes. This is where we stopped. Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the text. Can you see the text?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, the hippie boy on page number 5. The hippie boy staring at the stick. He stares at the look. He gives a very fixed look, a stern look. He looks at the stick. So we look alike. Do we? Me and this stick, I look exactly like him. We look exactly like each other. Me and this stick. Then he reflects a while. He thinks, he ponders. He thinks for a while. And then suddenly turns to the hippie girl. Now he puts a question to the hippie girl. You got any brothers and sisters? Hippie girl. A younger sister. I have got a younger sister. Hippie boy. What was her name for you? What was her name for you? അവള് നിന്നെ വിളിച്ചിരുന്നത് എന്ത് പേരിലാണ്? Any nickname? Did she use any nickname for you? What was her name for you? Now she hesitates a little bit. She doesn't say it openly. She doesn't want to speak openly. You must have been known as something. Now your younger sister must have been calling you by a name, by a different name. What was it? A nickname, maybe? Hippie girl. You mean the way she called me? Precisely, exactly. Right, that's it. Then hippie girl says, Gaga. Gaga. She used to call me by the name Gaga. Hippie boy. Gaga? What is that? What does it mean? Then hippie girl says, no. That is what my brother called me. My sister was different. She had a different name. She called me Mosquito. My brother called me Gaga, and my sister called me by the name Mosquito. Hippie boy, what does Gaga mean? Hippie girl says, Mosquito. That's what my sister called me. Yes, I am asking what Gaga is. What is meant by, what is the meaning of the expression Gaga? I am asking what Gaga is. Now, hippie girl, you don't know what Gaga is? Now, the boy, has it got something to do with mosquitoes? ഈ ഗാഗ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ പേരിന് കൊതുകുമായിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ബന്ധമുണ്ടോ? Has it got something to do with mosquitoes? Yes, but it is very complicated to explain. Well, it has got some relation, but it is very, very difficult to explain. It takes time for me to explain. Then, man from the hell, well, they have different topics. These people, they are just talking about names and all those things because they have nothing to do. They are hippies. They are very indifferent. But the other people, man from hell and woman from hell, they are on business because they got a report in the hell that recently a man died and that man has turned into a stick. So they have come to collect evidence. So they are looking for evidence. Why are they standing here? Because there is a stick. A stick fell from above and the hippie boy and the hippie girl are in possession of the stick. So the man from hell, excuse me, but would you just, he tries to intervene. Excuse me, but would you, but hippie boy. Yesterday, there was a funeral. ഒരു ശവദാഹം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. At the haberdashery. A haberdasher is a person who sells small things like the sewing materials. ഈ തയ്യൽ തുന്നലുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ചെറിയ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ the men's clothes, ആണുങ്ങളുടെ ഈ ഡ്രസ്സും ഒക്കെ വിൽക്കുന്ന ചെറിയ കടകൾക്കാണ് haberdashery എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. At the haberdashery across the street there was a funeral. Hippie boy says there was a funeral at the haberdashery, but the hippie girl looking around at the crowd, because this is a street, a lot of people are there moving here and there, back and forth, but it had nothing to do with any of these people, had it? The funeral didn't have anything to do with the people who are standing here, the moving about now. No, hippie boy. But what about our earlier discussion about Gaga and mosquito? What about Gaga and mosquito? You didn't tell me the meaning. Well, man from hell, wasn't it Gargar rather than Gaga? Was it not Gargar instead of Gaga? Then hippie girl says, well, they just don't care about the intervention made by the man from hell and the woman from hell, because they are in their own world. She died. Arepatiya, about her sister, younger sister, who called her mosquito. She died. Man from hell. Who died? My sister died. My sister. What happened to her? What happened? How did she die? Well, hippie boy. No, the man from hell asked, what happened to her? How did she die? But hippie boy answers, she became a dead body. She became a corpse. Naturally, she had a natural death. She had a natural death. She became a corpse. Corpse means dead body. She became a corpse naturally. Man from hell, of course, that's not surprising. There is no element of surprise in that. Adinanda, hippie girl, that's why I don't understand anything more. Everything is wrapped in riddles. എല്ലാം ഒരു കടങ്കഥ പോലാണ്. You don't understand anything. That is why I don't understand anything anymore, because everything is wrapped, everything is covered in riddles. Hippie boy, what? For instance, well, hippie girl, was it Gaga or Gargar? Hippie boy, you are just plain stupid. Look, because he's always a little bit dominating. You are just plain stupid. The remark made by the hippie boy about the hippie girl. Now man from hell, because they have the other business, they have to find out. By the way, in reference to that stick, because they are talking about the stick, the man from hell and the woman from hell, they are talking about the stick. In reference to that stick, she says, you look like it. You are lookalikes. The hippie boy and the stick, you resemble each other in appearance. Let us suppose for the moment you do look like the stick. ഇനി അങ്ങനെയാണെന്നിരിക്കട്ടെ. എന്ത്? നീയും വടിയും നിങ്ങൾ ഒരുപോലെയാണെന്നിരിക്കട്ടെ. The meaning is not what you think it is. അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം, if you are lookalikes, its meaning is something different from what you think. നീ വിചാരിക്കുന്നതിനപ്പുറം അതിനർത്ഥമുണ്ട്. അത് സാധാരണ ഒരു പറച്ചിലല്ല. It is not something very simple, because it has a deeper meaning in it. The hippie girl, tomorrow people will be calling tomorrow today. നാളെ, ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്ന നാളെ. Now when we say tomorrow, it means the day after this day. So tomorrow, that is the next day, people will be calling tomorrow. ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞ നാളെ, നാളെ എന്ത് പറയും? ഇന്നെന്ന് പറയും. Tomorrow, people will be calling tomorrow today. Man from hell, to begin with. ഒരു തുടക്കം എന്നുള്ള നിലയ്ക്ക് your conceptual framework with respect to stick is basically something very philosophical. നിന്റെ ആ താത്വികമായിട്ടുള്ള ആ ഒരു ചിന്ത എന്തിനെപ്പറ്റി? ഈ വഴിയെപ്പറ്റി. Your philosophical outlook, your philosophical framework as regards the stick is basically, he's trying to say something. Then people, oh, I see. Once a human hand grabs something, there is not telling what it can do. Yeah, they are talking about a stick. Because there was a bargain. How much do you want? I see. Once a human hand grabs something, ഒരിക്കൽ ഒരു മനുഷ്യന് എന്തെങ്കിലും കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, if a person, a man gets something, there is no telling. You can't say what it can do. Now, what significance it has got in his life. ആ സംഭവത്തിന്, അവന് കിട്ടുന്ന ആ ഒരു സാധനത്തിന് അവന്റെ ജീവിതവുമായിട്ട് എന്താണ് പ്രസക്തി, എന്താണ് പ്രാധാന്യം എന്നുള്ള സമയത്ത് നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. For example, if you get a stick like this, now how the stick is going to affect your life, you can't predict, you can't say. It might be something for the good, it might be something for the bad, you can't say. Now, the hippie girl, I missed grabbing it. എനിക്കിത് കിട്ടിയില്ല. It is too awful to think that the day after tomorrow, will always be tomorrow, even hundreds of years from now. Shakespeare's famous quotation in Macbeth, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, creeps in this a petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have, lighted fools the way to dusty death. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. അവൾ പറയുന്നത് something philosophical. It is awful. I didn't understand it. I don't understand anything. It is too awful. It is very difficult to think that the day after tomorrow, 2 days after, it will always be tomorrow, even hundreds of years. നമുക്ക് നാളെ 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 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടേ ഇരിക്കാം, അതൊരിക്കലും അവസാനിക്കുന്നില്ല. Tomorrow never ends. Tomorrow never comes. Now, woman from hell, at this time, she returns walking quickly, because she had gone there to collect the circumstantial evidence. She had gone to verify the facts with the things that happened there. അവിടെ സംഭവിച്ച ആ വടിയുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട കാര്യങ്ങളെ പറ്റി അന്വേഷിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അവൾ പോയതാണ്. Now she returns and she says, sir, that is, she is trying to address man from hell. He goes up to woman. Well, what happened? Woman from hell says, we have got to hurry. നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് പോണം. What is it? Man from hell turns towards hippies. Oh, this crazy bunch. ഈ പ്രാന്തന്മാര്, they're talking about the crazy bunch of people, that is the hippies. I offered them $1 for the stick. I want to get the stick. I offered him $1, but they refused to part with it. They are not ready to give me the stick for $1. The woman from hell says, the child is coming. The child who was standing on the rooftop near the railing, he is coming. The child is coming. Man from hell, what for? What does he want? Why is he coming? Now, a woman from hell says, just as I got into the department store, because she had gone into the department store to collect evidence, to verify the facts. When I entered the department store, I heard them making an announcement about a lost child. നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു പോയ ഒരു കുട്ടിയെപ്പറ്റി ഒരു അനൗൺസ്മെന്റ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് സ്റ്റോറിനകത്ത്, സൂപ്പർ മാർക്കറ്റിനകത്ത് അവർ അനൗൺസ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കേട്ടു. The child was apparently raising quite a rumpus. He made a lot of uproar, a lot of sound, a lot of noise, a lot of confusion. The child. The child said, what? That he saw his father turn into a stick and fall off the roof. He saw with his own eyes, he witnessed that his father transforming himself into a stick and falling off the roof. വടിയായി മാറിയിട്ട് ആ വടിയുടെ രൂപത്തിൽ അച്ഛൻ താഴേക്ക് വീഴുന്ന അവന്റെ കണ്ണുകൊണ്ട് കണ്ടു എന്ന് ആ കുട്ടി അവിടെ നിന്ന് വിളിച്ചു പറയുന്നു. But nobody seemed to, because this is something unnatural. Nobody can believe it. But nobody seemed to believe him. The child said he saw with his own eyes his father transforming himself, changing into a stick, turning into a stick. The man who turned into a stick, title, don't forget, and fall off the roof. Well, we saw the stick, falling from the roof, and it fell near him, and they were almost hit. The hippie boy and the hippie girl were almost hit, but nobody seemed to believe him. Woman from hell. Then the child gave the matron, avidatte aa streekku, he gave a slip and ran out of the store looking for his father. So after giving a slip to the matron, he went out. He ran out of the department store and he was looking for his father. The man and the woman from hell look uneasily off to stage left. They look uneasily, a little bit embarrassed. Now stick at this point. The stick, a vadi ennu parayunna kathapaatram, vadiyayi maariya manushan, the man who turned into a stick, the stick, talking brokenly to himself. അവനോട് തന്നെയാണ് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. He doesn't talk. The stick doesn't talk to anybody. The stick, is soliloquizing, talking in a aside to himself, talking brokenly to himself. The child saw it. കുട്ടി കണ്ടു. I know he did. I know that he saw it. I was leaning against the railing at the time. ഞാൻ ആ വേലിയെ ചാരി നിൽക്കുകയായിരുന്നു മുകളിൽ. I was leaning against the fence, the wall, the railing on the rooftop. And the one that runs between, the railing that runs between the air ducts and the staircase, the location of the railing where he was standing on a lower level. And I was looking down at the crowds below. From the rooftop, I was looking down with nothing particular on my mind. Well, my mind was empty. I was not thinking about anything. And I was looking down. There was a whirlpool of people. ആളുകൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ചുഴി പോലെ അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങനെ വട്ടം കറങ്ങുന്നവട്ട് എനിക്കൊന്ന്. I felt like that, there was a whirling crowd down beneath. Look, it is just like one big whirlpool. ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് നോക്കിയാൽ കാണാം എന്ത് ഈ ആളുകൾ. It is just like, people are moving around like a whirlpool. Now, actual noises of the city traffic gradually swell in volume. The noise increases, sounding something like a monster howling into a tunnel. എന്തോ ഒരു വലിയ ഭീകരജീവി ഒരു വലിയ പൈപ്പിനകത്തോട്ട് ഒച്ച വെച്ച് കൂവിയാൽ എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവും അതുപോലത്തെ വലിയ ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. എവിടുന്ന്? From the street. Suddenly, the hippie boy lets the stick drop in alarm. അവൻ പേടിച്ച് ഈ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് ഈ സാധനം താഴിട്ടു. ഏത്? Maybe he was a little bit afraid. He just dropped the stick. ആ സ്റ്റിക്ക് താഴേക്ക് വീഴുന്നു. Hippie girl, what happened? Now, again the stick continues. ആ വടി വടിയുടെ അസ്വയമുള്ള സംഭാഷണം. He is talking to himself. He continues. I stood there. ഞാൻ അങ്ങനെ മോളിൽ നിന്നു. Feeling dizzy. Well, a little bit of, dizziness. I was feeling giddy. ചെറിയായിട്ട് ഞാൻ തല കറങ്ങുന്ന പോലെ തോന്നി. As if the noises of the city were a waterfall roaring over me. The noises of the city, it was frightening. Clutching, I stood clutching, ഇങ്ങനെ പിടിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്. Clutching tightly to the railing. I was holding on to the fence. When my boy, my child, my son, called me, he was pestering me for a dime. അവനിത്തിരി പൈസയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടി എന്നോട് എൻ്റെ പുറകെ കുറച്ച് നേരം കൊണ്ട് ശല്യപ്പെടുത്തുകയായിരുന്നു. He wanted a few coins, some money, a dime, a coin. So he could look through the telescope for 3 minutes because he wanted to do some game. He wanted to look through the telescope. So he was asking for some money. And that second, samayathan. So he was asking for money because he wanted to do some game. He wanted to look through the telescope there because such things are there. ഈ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് സ്റ്റോറിനകത്തൊക്കെ മുകളിൽ ലുലുവിലൊക്കെ പോകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്കറിയാമല്ലോ, മുകളിൽ ചെല്ലുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അവിടെ കുട്ടികൾ കളിക്കാനുള്ള ഏരിയയാണ്, ആഹാരം കഴിക്കാൻ. അപ്പോൾ ഇവന് he was asking me for money. At that time, at that second, my body, എൻ്റെ ശരീരം വായുവിലൂടെ ഒഴുകി വരാൻ തുടങ്ങി. Sailed out into mid-air. I had not the least intention. I never thought of running away from the child or anything like that. അവിടുന്ന് പോകുന്നതിനെ പറ്റി ഞാൻ ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടേ ഇല്ല. I never thought of going away from my child. But my body started sailing, moving through the air. But I turned into a stick. പെട്ടെന്ന് I transformed myself. My shape got transformed into a stick. I became a stick. I turned into a stick. Why did it happen? Nobody knows. Why should such a thing have happened to me? That's my question. എനിക്കിത് എങ്ങനെ സംഭവിച്ചു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. How could I turn into a stick? Hippie girl, what's the matter anyway? Now hippie boy, it twitched. അതിങ്ങനെ പൊളയാൻ തുടങ്ങി. അവൻ ആ സാധനം കയ്യിലെറിഞ്ഞത് because the stick, he dropped the stick. Now hippie girl asked, what happened? Why did you drop the stick? Because it twitched. അതിങ്ങനെ പൊളഞ്ഞു. It twitched like it was, it was trembling. It was shivering. It was twitching like a dying fish. ഈ കരയിലേക്ക് പിടിച്ചിരുന്ന മീൻ ഇങ്ങനെ കിടന്ന് പിടക്കില്ലേ, അതുപോലെ കിടന്ന് പിടയ്ക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി എൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന്. the stick. So I dropped it. Hippie girl, it couldn't have. You're imagining. No. It's impossible. You are just, imagining things. ഇത് ആവശ്യമില്ലാതെ ചിന്തിച്ച് മനസ്സ് വിഷമിക്കുകയാണ്. A woman from hell, standing on tiptoes. She stands on toes and stares off into the distance at stage left. Look, sir, look. She is inviting the attention of the man from hell. Sir, look. Do you see that child? The little boy with a short neck, prowling around. He's moving around, making a lot of noise, looking with his big glasses over the ground. Look at that boy. Man from hell. He seems to be gradually coming closer. Is he coming closer? Now, again stick continues the soliloquy, the monologue. I can hear the child's footsteps. എനിക്ക് അവൻ്റെ കാലടി ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. Bouncing, the footsteps bouncing like a little rubber ball. The sound threading its way through the rumblings of the earth, shaking under the weight of a million people. ചിലപ്പോൾ ഈ ഭൂമിയിൽ നിന്ന് ചില ശബ്ദങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കാറില്ലേ, അതേപോലെ ആ ശബ്ദം അവൻ്റെ കാലടികൾ എനിക്ക് കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. Hippie girl, she steals a glance in the direction of the man and the woman from the hell. മെല്ലെ അറിയാതെ നോക്കുന്നു ആരടുത്ത്? To the man and the woman from the hell. Somehow somehow those guys give me the creeps. Some things, a sort of fright. They just give me some fear. Why don't you make some sort of a deal with him? Idanghu avasanipichude. Yeah, because he's asking for the stick and he's ready to pay some money. Why don't you finish why don't you strike the deal? Why don't you finish it off? Now the hippie boy who has kept his eyes glued on the stick because it twitched in his hand. Like a dying fish, it twitched, so he threw it away. So he, sitting with his eyes glued, he's sitting, looking at it, staring at the stick, snaps out of his daze and stands up. And the girl also stands. Now the hippie boy with irritation. I can't figure it out. എനിക്കത് clear ആവുന്നില്ല. But I don't like it. That stick looks like it too much like me. It resembles me. We are a sort of lookalikes. I don't like it. Now, well, the hippie girl is consoling him. അവനെ ആശ്വസിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. The expression is consoling. It doesn't really look all that much like you. Just a little. നീ പറയുന്നത്രയൊന്നുമില്ല. നീയുമായിട്ട് സാമ്യം അത്രമാത്രമൊന്നുമില്ല. Not that much of a resemblance. Only just a little. Hippie boy calls to man from hell who has just that moment turned toward him as if anticipating something. എന്തോ സംഭവിക്കാൻ പോകുന്ന പോലെ അവനിങ്ങനെ അടുത്തോട്ട് വരുന്നത് വരെ ആ സമയത്ത് ഹിപ്പി ബോയ് പറയുന്നു, $5. What do you say? He keeps his foot on the stick. ആ വടിയെ ചവിട്ടി നിൽക്കുകയാണ്. ചവിട്ടി നിൽക്കുമ്പോൾ, well, the man from the hell says, $5? $5? അവൻ ചവിട്ടി നിൽക്കുകയല്ലേ. So the stick says to himself, oh, he doesn't have to stand on me. അയ്യോ, എൻ്റെ മേൽ ചവിട്ടി നിൽക്കല്ലേ. I am soaked. ഞാൻ കുതിർന്നിരിക്കുകയാണ് because I was lying in the gutter, in the water. I am soaked from lying in the gutter. You will break me. I'll be lucky if I don't catch a cold. ഒരു ഫ്ലൂ, പനി പിടിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭാഗ്യം. Don't stand on me. Now, hippie boy, I'm not going to force you if you don't want it. $5? If you agree, you take it. Otherwise, I'm not going to force you. Now, woman from hell nervously glancing off to stage left. Sir, he's almost here. She's talking about the boy. The stick's son. He's almost, അവൻ ഇവിടെ അടുത്ത് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. Now the man at this point, the man who turned it to a stick, shows a subtle, complex reaction because the boy is coming near. A mixture of hope and rejection. Well, hippie boy, I am selling it because I don't want to sell it. ഞാനിത് തരുന്നത്, ഞാനിത് വിൽക്കുന്നത് എനിക്കത്ര താല്പര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. പക്ഷെ അത് I am selling it because I don't look at the way he speaks. It's a contradiction. ഇതെല്ലാം വൈരുദ്ധ്യങ്ങളാണ്. I am selling it because I don't want to sell it. That's a contradiction of circumstances. Do you follow me? ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? Do you follow me? Now hippie girl, that's right. He's selling it because he doesn't want to. He's selling it because he doesn't want to sell it. Well, can you understand that? Because they were talking about, understanding aims and all those things, all those philosophical questions they were discussing. The man from hell is a little bit annoyed. He gets irritated. All right, I guess. He pulls some bills. A pocket നിന്ന് കുറച്ച് കറൻസി നോട്ട് എടുത്തു, കാശെടുത്തു, bills, money, currency from his pocket and selects from them a $5 bill. $5 നോട്ട് എടുത്തു, a $5 bill. Here you are, that will do. But I'll tell you one thing. പക്ഷെ ഒരു കാര്യം. What? My friend, you may imagine you have struck a clever bargain. Oh, ലാഭമായിപ്പോയി, ലാഭക്കച്ചവടമായിപ്പോയി എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടാവും. But one of these days, പക്ഷെ ഓർത്തോളൂ, that you will find out. What? നിനക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. It wasn't just a stick you sold. നീ കൊടുത്തത്, നിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് പോയത് $5 നിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് പോയത്, ഇറ്റ് വാസ് നോട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് എ സ്റ്റിക്ക് ബട്ട് യുവർ സെൽഫ്. നീ തന്നെയായിരുന്നു. നീ കൊടുത്തത്, ഇറ്റ് യു സോൾഡ് ഫോർ $5, നോട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് ആൻ ഓർഡിനറി സ്റ്റിക്ക് ബട്ട് യു സോൾഡ് യുവർ സെൽഫ്. നീ നിന്നെ തന്നെയാണ് വിറ്റത് എന്ന് നിനക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. ബട്ട് ഹിപ്പി ബോയ്, without waiting for man to just finish his words, snatches away the $5 bill. അവൻ്റെ പ്രഭാഷണമൊന്നും കേൾക്കണ്ട, അവൻ്റെ പ്രസംഗമൊന്നും കേൾക്കണ്ട. Snatches the $5 bill and quickly exits. He goes out to stage right. And the hippie girl follows after him, smiling innocently. She waves her hand. Hippie girl, it is the generation gap. തലമുറകളുടെ വിടവ്. Because they were talking about the same thing. Because, when people belonging to different generations, for example, the grandfather talking to the grandchild, well, the grandchild may not understand because there is a generation gap. The generation gap. She exits with these words. I think we'll call it a day. Shall we stop here?